Clevinger and Zach Plesac, they create a lot of dysfunction in the Indians locker room. People were not happy with what they did, with them breaking safety protocol. They were even unhappier with how they handled it after they broke protocol by not coming clean. Les, Doug, ESPN's Jeff Passan wrote about this. Players and their team meeting on Friday in Detroit, they threatened, including at least Oliver Perez, he wanted to opt out if Clevinger and Plesac remained on the team. So Les, Doug, a situation arises. What do you do with Clevinger and Plesac right now?
Well, they did what they're supposed to do right now. And then see how the team goes in the next week or two, and then make some kind of a decision. You know, it's like the Jordan rules. Michael Jordan's better than everybody else. If he does something wrong, he gets treated better than different than somebody else. Plesac and Clevinger aren't at that position right now. But I thought it was interesting that the veteran Perez made that demand, because players usually don't go against their fellow teammates, and they also aren't privy or shouldn't be privy to contract negotiations and things like that are available when that information gets out. Doug, what do you think?
You know, part of me wonders, Les, if these guys had been the Indians' two best players, if anything really would have been different. I mean, Michael Jordan broke the pandemic rules and lied to his teammates about it. Would it be different? I mean, this is the most serious that sports has been. I mean, how often can your actions potentially threaten the health of your teammates?
Life and death information.
Yeah, so I mean that's just a different deal, and so I think part of this is going to have to be that Terry Francona, when decisions, and Chris Antonetti, and when they make decisions about these guys, they're going to have the teammates involved. And not that they aren't a lot of the time anyway. I think Terry Francona does a really good job. Everybody does.
You mean the teammates like Oliver? You mean like Oliver Perez and guys like that?
I mean, I think you have to bring it to the team and say, this is what we're thinking. We're thinking of bringing these guys back. What do you think? Are you comfortable with it? What would you like to see them do? Right? Not that you're not. I think they have to make amends in some way, and I don't know what that is. But this is not. This is an issue that affects the clubhouse, because it affects the health and well-being of the guys in that clubhouse. So I don't think this be a decision that Antonetti and Francona make. I think they were smart to have the input of the teammates before, and I think before those guys come back, I think they need the input of the teammates again.
Yeah, you got Chris Antonetti, who's been with the team forever, and I don't think, just off the top of my head, I can't think of any situation that he's had to make a decision based on disrupting the team or disrupting players. They go about getting pretty good guys, so they've never had that problem, but they've got one right now. What was interesting that Zach Plesac's uncle,
Dan
Plesac, long major league career, I think 12 years. The morning of that event in Chicago, he had been interviewed by USA Today, saying how his nephew is old school and he understands all the rules and everything else. In the meantime, that night, that's when it all came down. It's just kind of interesting. But it's also interesting that Perez, who's a longtime veteran in the majors, would have made that statement also.
And it is interesting, and I think Jeff Passan brought this up in the piece. They're probably not the only guys in Major League Baseball who have done something like this, right? So they got caught. It's very public. It needs to be handled. But I don't think this is the only time or will be the last time that Major League teams have to deal with this. And listen, you know, the NBA had this. The NBA had had a guy leave the bubble for a reason. So It's not unprecedented. But I think those guys made it worse, just like we talked about with the Big Ten. It's just like in life, Les. It's not the crime, it's the cover-up. People make mistakes, but if you try to lie about it, try to make excuses for it,
you always get caught. Nobody's a good enough liar to get away with it, I don't think.
I'm a very good liar. I can get away with it. But unless you're as good of a liar as me, you're in trouble.
All right, well, you